So, you're buying a home in Warrensburg, Missouri, near Whiteman Air Force Base. And, oh my gosh, what if something's ginormously wrong with it? Should you get a home inspection? Let's find out. Eva here with Next Door Agents. Make sure that you like and subscribe down below because we make a new video every single week all about living, breathing, eating, sleeping, playing in Warrensburg, Missouri, near Whiteman Air Force Base, and you're gonna wanna get a notification because we're pretty awesome. Also, if you're moving to the area, if you're PCSing to Whiteman and you just need to reach out and talk to someone about what it's like, if you have any questions, contact information is below. I get calls and texts from all over the world and I love it. So definitely reach out, send a carrier pigeon. Those aren't real anymore, they don't exist. But send me an email or just give me a call. I really do love talking to people. So after you find the perfect house, you put an offer in with your realtor, the offer's accepted, you have usually 10 days to hire a home inspector and get home inspection done. And basically that home inspector is gonna look through that house with a fine-tooth comb to find things that need to be fixed. Then you take that report, you go through it with your realtor, and then you ask the seller to fix some things on that report, or you ask them to credit money towards you on the sale of the home. Sounds easy, right? But let's now delve in to what exactly a home inspector does and what types of things could they find. So who are home inspectors? Well, they are wonderful people who went through a whole training and certification process in order to be a home inspector. And usually they're people that have a background in construction or being a contractor or an electrician or a handyman. So they're very, very knowledgeable about all the different working parts of a house and, different AC systems and all sorts of things like that. So they know what to look for going into your house when they start the inspection. So what are the things that a home inspector is looking for? To start off with, the very first thing is water, water, water. Water, 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 water. Water is a telltale sign of so many things. Water damage. Is there roof damage? Is the roof leaking? Are there telltale water leaks under the sinks, behind the toilets? Is there structural issues caused by water getting down into the foundation? So one of the very first things they look for is water damage. Another big thing that they look for that also has to do with water is the structural integrity of your home's foundation. So if you get a lot of water going down into the soil around the foundation, what you'll get is an expansion of that soil. And then when the water leaves, it's going to shrink back in and then the foundation's going to settle. And that can lead to cracks in your foundation, which are just pathways for more water to come in. So the next thing that a home inspector is gonna look for is they're gonna look at the structural integrity of the foundation. Now, cracks and things like that can be easily fixed from $500 to $10,000, and all of those things can be fixed, but they can't be fixed if you don't find out about them. So, home inspector, very important. The next thing that they're really look at is they're gonna look at damage to the roof. The roof, the gutters, that whole system. Now in Missouri especially, a roof can be fixed quite easily. You just file an insurance claim because we have lots of storms with lots of hail. So you can always get an inspector to come out, inspect the roof, they'll see all the hail damage and they'll go, oh, you need a new roof. But damage to the roof is a big one. They'll check all the shingles, they'll make sure that the gutters are empty, that there's downspouts, a big one, downspouts directing water away from the foundation. I know a lot of the things I'll talk about are water related, but man, water can definitely do a lot of damage to a house if not properly maintained and directed away from certain areas. The next thing that a home inspector might look at are problems with electrical panels. So newer panels or panels that maybe need to be replaced because they've been recalled. They're gonna look at all the different types of outlets to see if they're grounded. They're gonna look for exposed wiring. They're gonna look and even see if the lights work, if the fans work, if all of those things work, and they will note it on the inspection, just so you may not be asking the seller to change a light bulb, but you probably want to know that that light bulb needs to be changed before you move in at night and none of the lights work. The next thing a home inspector is going to look at is the plumbing. Now, everyone wants to make sure that their toilets work before they move into a house. I know I sure do. But they're gonna look at plumbing problems. They're gonna make sure the toilet's flush. They're gonna make sure that the water turns on and the sinks drain. They're gonna go under the sink and they're gonna look at all the different pipes. Do they leak? Are they rusted? Are they corroded? They're gonna go down and they're gonna look at the HVAC system. They're gonna look at the hot water heater. Does it look like it's ever been serviced? Does it look like it maybe exploded 20 years ago? I don't know. But they're gonna go through and they're gonna check all these things. And if they see water, they're gonna check and see if it's still damp, if there's a current leak, or maybe if it was a leak that was been fixed a couple years ago, something like that. All of this information gives you a really good heads up of what you're gonna expect when going into the house. One thing I really like to do for my clients is after I get the home inspection, even if we don't ask for the sellers to fix some of the things on the list, because sometimes you kind of want to be choosy, you want them to fix the larger things and then you can deal with the smaller things on your own. But then in that time period, before closing's over, before my clients move into their house, I like to get an AC person out there to service the HVAC. I like to get a plumber out just to go in and fix any small leaks or anything that was found during inspections. Also like to get an electrician out just if there's any small panels that need to be replaced or any fans that don't work, just so when my clients go into their house, it's like a brand new house and everything works. Because there's nothing worse than moving into your house, doing some dishes, and finding out your garbage disposal doesn't work, and then you have to dig all that nasty food out there and throw it away in the trash. That's literally happened to me and it sucked. Other things a home inspector is gonna look for. So they're going to look for pest infestations. This is a good one. They are going to look for ants. They're gonna look for bees, rodents. You do not wanna move into the house and then find out that it's full of mice. They're going to look for cockroaches, hopefully not spider infestations. I've never had a house with a spider infestation. Knock on table, I never want that to happen. But also, if you are purchasing your house with a VA loan, you'll probably also need to do a termite inspection, and most home inspectors are certified to do termite inspections as well. So you basically get both. And they make sure that there's no creepy crawlies that are gonna sneak up on you in the middle of the night. Moving on, another thing the home inspector is gonna look at is your HVAC system. So is it rusted? Is it corroded? Does it work? Does it look like the filters have been changed anytime in the last 30 years? All of these things are very important, and they will go through and document them with photos of everything. Now, if there is access to the attic, and this is a big problem sometimes in some people's homes because they block access to the attic with things like boxes or coats or shelves, and then the inspector can't get up there. But I really like to try to get my inspectors into the attics of houses because you never know what you're gonna see up there. Asbestos, holes with raccoons living in there, bats, all sorts of things. So if you can get your inspector up into the attic and then down below in the crawl space, that's really, really, really important because you just never know what you're gonna find. And I have heard horror stories of inspectors going down into the crawl space or the basement and seeing the entire house propped up with like one little brick or a shoe or a wooden block or a toy or something like that. So getting your inspector access to all the secret hidden places in a house is just gonna make your transition into the house easier in the long run. Now on to the important questions. How much does a home inspection cost? It varies. It varies from house to house. Usually home inspectors charge by the square footage. So for a house that's between like 1,500 and 2,000 square feet, you're looking at about $300. The larger the house is, the more it's going to cost. So for maybe a 6,000 to 8,000 square foot house, you're probably gonna pay around $500 or $600. But it varies from inspector to inspector. So you can always call one or two and get multiple quotes, but never skip the home inspection just because of the cost. You will regret it. This brings me to the fun section of the video labeled, what's the worst things that you've ever seen? Well, not me personally, because I'm not a home inspector, but I work with a lot of home inspectors and I asked them that specific question and some of the answers I got were doozies. So one specifically, the worst thing this one inspector had seen was raw sewage being dumped into the crawl space. So basically the sewer line had disconnected. Instead of taking the sewage out, it was dumping it into the crawl space. So when he went up there, it was just straight poo. Ugh. Other common ones are infestations. So rodents, raccoons in the attic, bats in the attic. A lot of houses being propped up with weird things. Like I mentioned earlier, like a boot or a brick. A lot of DIY duct tape stuff, so people don't want to pay a plumber to come in or an electrician to come in, so they just duct tape things themselves and just cross their fingers and hope that they work. So the moral of this story is always get a home inspection. Just do it. So there you have it, guys and gals. If you're buying a house, get a home inspection. You're welcome. You will be glad you did. Even just for the peace of mind to know that you're not walking into something with raw sewage dumping into your crawl space. Anyway, I hope you loved my video. It was fun to make. Make sure to like and subscribe down below because we make a new one every single week all about Warrensburg and Whiteman, and you're gonna get notified. Also, if you're moving to the area, if you're PCSing to Whiteman, there's my contact information. If you have any questions, if you want to reach out and ask about Warrensburg, or if you have a good idea for a video you want to see, oh my gosh, send me a text. I would love to know. Have a good one.